Hey guys, I just started the live a little bit early so that all the notifications could go out. So hang tight. We're just going to give people a minute to come in. Probably 3 or 4 minutes, just hanging out. Apparently, me either. Oh, hey, if you're on Facebook, add your name to your comment because a lot of times it doesn't tell me who is, it'll just say user. Hey. So I'm just going to reiterate, I started a little bit early, just trying to give the notifications time to go out, give people a few minutes to come in. So it'll probably be like another 2 minutes before we really start. I just wanted to give people time to pop in. Hi, Norma. While we wait for people to come in, did anybody go fishing this week? Past week? I tried. I was in Nebraska with family. My niece graduated college, and we tried to fish even though the winds were blowing at like 40 miles an hour and it was raining. We still tried. I might put a short video of it together because it was interesting. Hey, Harold. Cat. She's not commenting for me. She's helping me out in the chat, I think. All right, let's see. Let's give it just another minute. I think I had a message that a couple people were getting ready to come in. So all right, Kat. Norma says you got to get to work. All right, let's see. I think we have quite a few people coming in. So welcome, hooligans. Another really exciting episode of On the Line. We're going to explore all things fishing. I think the topics for today will reel you in. See what I did there? We're going to talk about bank fishing, going from bank fishing to kayak fishing, checking out new waters, baits for my favorite baits, what broads reels line I use. Yeah, so let's check it out. So the first one was going to be transitioning from bank fishing to kayak fishing. I highly recommend going somewhere and checking out a kayak. Dave over at Kayak Instruction, he like rents them out for the day, and you could try out a Jackson. You could try out, man, really, I think he has 5 or 6 at least different brands of kayaks. You could take it out right on the water, right there at his shop. Try it out. When you do buy a kayak, I recommend flipping it. That was a big one that was recommended to me, and I was like, why would I do that? But if you take it somewhere, somewhere where it's shallow, small water, and purposely flip your kayak so that you can practice getting back in it. That way, you know, when you're on the water, whether it's the lake, a pond, river, you know that you can get back in it. Yeah, bank fishing is by the water, like just walking the edges of the pond or the lake. Yeah, don't flip in February, which I did at a tournament nonetheless. But yeah, so my big thing is make sure you know how to get back into your kayak. When you get a kayak, make sure you have all your safety equipment. Get your life jacket. Get a whistle. You can get a floating whistle on Amazon for like $5 or $10. I think it's a 2-pack. Once you get safety covered, like I said, check out all the different types of kayaks. You know, you may not even want to fish, so you may not need all the bells and whistles. You know, maybe just a paddling kayak, or maybe you do want to fish and you want a kayak that you can have all your snacks and fishing gear in, which that Jackson Nar has lots of snack space and lots of fishing gear. More snacks than fishing. Definitely get your safety first. My favorite are for fishing are the sit on top kayaks. Those are the ones that have the seat literally on top. To me, I felt like it was going to be harder to cast the fishing pole from inside of the kayak, which I could totally be wrong. It may not be, but I feel like they're a little more comfortable, especially if you're going to be out on the water for hours and hours. You know, the seats on the Jackson, you can move them up and down, and back and forth, so that you have leg room. You can stretch. You can stand up and fish. They're super stable. I know some of the other ones. A good friend of mine is super about Hobie, and those are super stable as well. I don't know that people stand up in a sit-in kayak, if that's what you're asking, Harold. I know there's plenty of room on the sit on top kayaks to stand. Some of them, like mine, have pedals in it, so there's a little less room to move around when you're standing. But the Kusa X has so much floor space. I want to try it out, and I might borrow one from Dave and Roulette and check it out, because you can never have too many kayaks, right? As far as flip wise, one style, I know that the fishing kayaks are made to stand up in, a lot of them, like the Kusa and the Nar, and are incredibly stable. The first time I decided I was going to flip the Kusa on purpose, I was able to lean a whole lot further than I really thought I was going to be able to without it flipping. It really takes a lot of effort to get it to flip. And sometimes it's easier than you think too when you're on your way to a tournament and there's a lot of people standing there. Do they make tandem kayaks? Yes. Jackson actually makes a Take Two. Hi, Tom. That has 2 seats. And actually, a lot of people use the Take Two for tournaments. Dustin, one of my team members, uses his Take Two, and he actually puts a live well for tournaments where you have to bring fish back to be weighed in. So he actually takes the second seat out and puts a live well in, and he says it paddles just like a regular kayak, even though it's quite a bit longer. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So yeah, I think being able to get off of the bank is pretty cool. Like for me, you know, you might catch a fish or two from the bank, but when you can actually move around the water, it is funny when you're fishing from the bank, you cast out to the middle, And when you're on the kayak, you cast, a lot of times I cast towards the bank and drag my bait out. And that's when I get some of those really good blow up hits. So it's neat to, even if you're just renting it for the day, it's really cool to get out and see fishing from a different perspective, you know, for the day. Yeah, I was honestly, I was really surprised. I thought it was going to be really easy to flip the kayak, but I leaned almost completely out of the Kusa. I haven't tried the Nar yet, which I really should, and I might do pretty soon. Probably here in the pond now that it's warm. I did stick my feet in last week and the water's already warm, so I might flip it down here just so I could practice getting back in. Yeah, it was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. So once you have your kayak and you're ready to go out and you decide to go to a new lake, a new pond, whatever it might be, I suggest checking out Google Maps. Hi, Trinity. You can zoom in on spaces. You can check out the ramps. You can figure out where you want to launch. You know, I usually take my kayak and I just back the truck up, unload close to the ramp. I don't usually go right on the ramp because, you know, boats, people want to come in and out. And it takes me a few minutes to completely set up the kayak. And then actually I just got a new trailer, so I will be able to use the ramp. So what I'll do is I'll put all my fishing gear, my snacks, Harold, all that stuff. I'll put it on the kayak and then I'll back in and then I'm ready to go. Park the truck and hop on in. Kat, you don't want to fish with me? I don't know. Tandem fishing, we might hook each other, pierce each other's ears. Okay, so yeah, I study maps of the area. I like to find potential hotspots like coves. On Google Maps, you can actually change it to when the lake has been at its lowest. And that's a really good way to find structure along the banks, is when the water has been way down. You could see structure, trees, anything that would attract fish. And that's usually what I look for when I'm getting ready to launch. Or, you know, a few days before a tournament, I try to find those good hot spots. And there's also I know as far as Texas, Texas Wildlife, Parks and Wildlife, they actually do a fishing report. They'll tell you the water temperature. They'll tell you what baits have been working in that specific area, that specific lake. Yes. Oh, here we go, Tom. I'm telling you, I haven't launched with the trailer yet. I'm a little nervous about backing it down the ramp. I'm going to practice in the front yard before I go. Yeah, I'm totally going to do that. That's my next topic. Man, Harold, you're on top of the game. So once I figure out the water, I watch for wind direction. I check the weather because those storms, they pop up and it's, you know, you gotta get out of there if you didn't check the weather and a storm does pop up on you. Yeah, so check the weather, check out the vegetation, structure, maps, and even YouTube. Sometimes if I've never been to a lake, I'll do on YouTube, they do lake breakdowns, or other people that have fished that lake. They'll give you kind of a little report like, hey, I went in March of this year and this is what I found. This is what the fish were reacting to. I try to find ones that are more recent, but you know, usually you can find it within a few weeks. People post up pretty quick. So let's see. A lot of people do have river specific kayaks. I don't, because I don't normally go on the river. Usually it's either a pond or a lake. And the two kayaks that I have, the Kusa and the Nar, are both amazing for both of those. They take the lake really well. If it gets windy while I'm out there, I know that both the Kusa and the Nar can take waves. They have no problem at all. So I'm pretty sure Dustin, one of my teammates that I was saying, uses the Take Two, the tandem kayak. He fishes the ocean and has no trouble with it at all. So I think most of these kayaks can handle most types of water, but when you go test one out, you might ask, hey, like Dave, he's super knowledgeable. Ask around, ask me, any of the other kayak. There's tons of Facebook groups with kayak fishermen, and they'll tell you, most of these guys are really cool, laid back. I actually just got a fish finder this year and am learning to use it. I have taken it a couple times. One of my other friends that kayak fishes, she's been really awesome, was showing me how to use the different screens. It is interesting. I haven't really used it for a tournament. I've just taken it out for practice, like on the pond, so that I could tell what structure was. I could figure out, this is a fish, this is a bait fish, this is a big, the different types of fish, the different screens, because there are so many different things on these fish finders these days. I'm definitely learning. I'm going to try it when we go to Toledo, May 25th. I'm going to take the fish finder with me and try to actually use it to find fish and catch fish, because catching fish would be great. All right, Harold, here we go. So I'm going to tell you guys some of my favorite lures that I use, some that are really great for the spring in Texas. I don't know how great they would be. Exactly, Tom. Is that a fish or a gator? Usually I can locate the gators pretty well because they follow me around. Okay, so my first favorite bait, all-time favorite, is a chatterbait. Well, let's see. Maybe it's kind of shiny, but so this, you tie it on where my finger is, and this little metal piece goes back and forth in the water, and that's what makes it chatter. And that little bit of noise irritates, or in my opinion, irritates the bass, and they will do like a reaction bite. So it's a hard bite usually. So that's one of my favorites. I also really like to do a Texas rig with like Cincos or creature baits, or even like a swim bait. These little guys right here are some of my favorite. These little paddle tail. If I can get the bag open, holy moly. Yeah, these guys, these swim baits are awesome for like a Texas rig. But they also, the smaller ones, make a really good trailer for the chatterbaits. So really all you do is, it would be a little bit shorter than this, but you add it like that, and that paddle tail gives it just a little more movement. And they really go after this, especially pond fishing, in my experience. Let's see. And then I really like a buzz bait. A buzz bait is kind of topwater-ish. Well, it's definitely topwater, because this spinny blade here, you'll see it on top of the water, also makes a lot of noise. You could put a trailer. I usually just use a regular Cinco, but you can add the paddle tail to it too. And the topwater bite, where they actually come out of the water to grab it, it's really fun. Just to see them just launch for it. Let's see. I also like to run a spinnerbait. These are pretty fun. These kind of go through the water like this, and these blades will spin and reflect light. So the fish, they like those. If I'm having a little bit of a harder time, I will pull out a jig. This one is a really large one. This is one of my flipping jigs. So if I have a lot of weeds, grass, this will fall right through all that. It comes through it really well with the rounded top. And actually, it's funny. I have a lot of bite marks on there, a lot of fish teeth prints. And then my other favorite, last favorite, is a square bill. I like to throw this right up against rocks, especially if they're on the edge. Like at the lake, sometimes you'll have a rocky edge that kind of drops straight off. You can throw that square bill right up to it and then reel it so that it kind of dives down. That's a really good way to catch fish. All right, hold on, let me check. Let's see. Maggie. The most expensive bait I've lost while fishing. Probably a chatterbait. Some of the chatterbaits are like, no, I lied. It's not a chatterbait. I think I had a I just blanked on it. Like a big swim bait, a glide bait. I think it was a 6 or an 8-inch glide bait. It was like a $20 or $30 glide bait, and it got hooked on something, maybe a brush pile or a tree underwater, and it just snapped right off. I was very sad to lose that. I'm always sad to lose chatterbaits because those are my absolute favorites. Let's see. So on my kayak, I have a crate that I put behind the seat. And inside of the crate, I have my tackle boxes. I usually keep 3 or 4 in there. And then I also have a box with my soft plastics that I keep in there. And then under my seat, there's actually a bag that Jackson Kayak makes. It's not really a bag. It's a drawer. It's a fabric drawer that you can keep more tackle in. You can keep your scissors, pliers, all that different stuff. So I have the under the seat tackle bag. I have the crate. And then I also have a small little toolbox that goes on the side, also from Jackson Kayak. It holds other tools, pliers, scissors. I think I also have a small little first aid kit that I keep in that one, as well as line, like an extra thing of line. Does weather play? Yes, definitely. So to me, I think fishing right before a storm or when it first starts raining seems to be an awesome time to fish. After a storm, to me, I have a harder time getting bites than right before a storm. I prefer to fish early mornings, especially in Texas in the summer. Early morning bite and that evening bite right before sunset. That seems to be, to me, when I get the most bites. That's really awesome. Let's see. You're right. Nothing worse than losing your favorite lure. I haven't actually done any night fishing yet. That was Tom. But I do have glow-in-the-dark lures for when I do. We'll see. I haven't really had the opportunity. Well, when it was raining like it was in Nebraska, no. But when it very first starts raining and it's a light rain, I think that's a great time to fish because usually the bite turns on. But I think we were also fishing a pond that had trout, and I don't know. The stuff that we were doing, Maggie, was for bass. It was not. Let's see. Funny stories from the lake or a competition. Probably when I flipped my kayak on accident, not on purpose. That was what 2 or 3 tournaments ago. I was out at Lake. I don't remember the lake now. So I had put everything on the kayak. I'd put the kayak kind of in the water because it was early. So I would chatted with some of the guys. Tons of people came, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and launch, get out of the way. So these other people, because there were tons of people, there was a boat tournament, 2 kayak tournaments. So I got on the kayak and went to push off and flipped 5 feet from the bank in February, which luckily it was, the water wasn't terribly cold, but yeah. Yes, I lost a ton of stuff. Sorry, I was reading the questions. Uh, when I flipped over that day, I was able to get my fishing poles, but like my old camera was ruined. I lost a bunch of lures that I had out ready to tie on because I was just going to go to my spot because it was about 30 minutes early. So I was just going to go to my spot and tie those on. Well, they were sitting on the deck and I lost them. Okay, there's the next spot to fish. That'll be super soon. Part 2, I may be able to do it, but honestly, the neighbors, they knocked it out. I was away at a tournament and it's floating in the pond right now. So I might be able to do a little bit. I think they're going to add to it. Okay, so let's see. Texas rig, buzz baits. We did all the lures. Hold on, I gotta check my notes, y'all. Okay. I did wanna. I know I talked about it on the last go live session, but I did want to remind you guys that this is my first year as a tournament director. I'm doing the USA Bass and Kayak Trail Texas Division. That is a title. And speaking of Dave at Kayak Instruction and Roulette, he has agreed that anybody that wants to fish that tournament that's doesn't have their own kayak, he's going to rent on tournament weekends. He is going to rent out a kayak, which includes a life vest, the paddle, and the boat for $50. You pick it up on Friday and bring it back on Sunday. So that's an awesome way to test out how you like kayak fishing tournaments. Harold. Okay, so I had to upgrade cameras and I went with the DJI action camera. Sorry, I hit the microphone. It's tiny, but it has the part that goes onto the kayak, it locks into place and it's waterproof. And it's you can use voice activated. Yeah. So this one, I've had it underwater just to test it. Totally waterproof. I think the images are way better than the camera that I had. So that worked out pretty darn well. Good excuse to buy a new one. Let's see. Yeah, it's an amazing deal. $50 for the whole weekend. you can rent. And he has a handful of Jackson kayaks. So if you wanted to fish one like mine, just to see, I mean, if Kat's not there, you can borrow one of ours and test it out for sure. But yeah, $50 for the whole weekend. That's pretty awesome. Yes. So I do have a big, long boom arm right now so that I can get the camera kind of further out so that you can see the boat, me, and the fishing. I used to have it much more up close, but I didn't feel like you could see the catches as well. But I had 2 cameras previously, but they both got drowned. So right now I only have the 1 camera. So I feel like that's the best angle, which I'm open to suggestions if it's not. I try to move it around. If I'm out on the water for 8 hours, I'll have it in front of me for a while. I'll change it to where it's next to me so you can see more. I keep it on my right because I tend to cast to the left. So hopefully you guys can see the casting, the hook sets, all that kind of fun stuff. Do they have plus size life vest? Yes, they have a life vest in all sizes. So does Dave. I'm pretty sure I can make sure, but yes. Especially when you go to buy them on Amazon or from the store, they have them in all sizes. Let's see. Yes. Yeah, so it was really cool. I think the boom arm is around here. But I was going to show you some of the fishing poles. So this is my spinning combo that I have. Ooh, as I knock them all down. This one I use for lighter baits. I have tied on now one of those paddle tails. This little guy catches a ton of fish. It's really awesome. I also use this for drop shot or a wacky rig, which is Kat's favorite. As a matter of fact, Kistler has decided that they're going to sponsor the tournament. So I should be getting in the mail what I think are going to be rods for giveaways. So for sure, come out and fish it because at the end of each of the tournaments, I'm going to do a raffle. This is one of my other Kistler rods. This is my heavy rod. This is an extra heavy. I use this for the big live baits, swim baits, stuff that is like an ounce or heavier. Hey, Trey. And then my favorite setup is my Lux rod with my Shimano here. I take this buddy everywhere. This is my medium. I use this for most everything. It could do swim baits, smaller swim baits that are less than an ounce, lots of Texas rigs, chatterbaits. Almost always have a chatterbait on this. Yeah, I got that a couple years ago, and that has definitely been my favorite fishing pole. Yes, I would also, wait, where did that go? I would love to see tons of newbies. I would love to see a bunch of people from the women's fishing groups come, people who just want to try it out. This is my first year as tournament director. Let it be your first year at tournaments. I think it's going to be an awesome year. Reel type. So my favorite reel type is the baitcaster. The spinning reel is okay. I like it, but I really only like it for the lighter stuff like wacky rigs, some of that kind of stuff. But my favorite is a baitcaster. And as a matter of fact, I packed that Shimano and took it with me to graduation weekend. And they let me borrow a fishing pole to put it on. And yeah, so have baitcaster will travel. Let's see. Okay, so what I normally do is I put the crate, because I have a 4-door truck. So I put the crate with the baits, like the hard baits and the boxes in the crate. I have a bag next to it with all the soft plastics. And then I run my rods from the front seat all the way through to the back seat. So there's no room for passengers most of the time. But now that I have a trailer for the kayak, I'm going to probably put a topper on the back of the truck so that my fishing poles can be in there and be safe. So then I will have room for a co-pilot. Yeah, so right now the fishing rods are in the truck. Hopefully soon they'll be in the back of the truck. Probably keep my reels and stuff in the truck, or at least close by, because people break in and grab stuff. Yeah, Maggie, come on down and fish some of these tournaments. They're talking about all the dogs in the comments. My dogs are all super lazy and they like to snuggle. Pretty much everybody. Let's see. All right, so the trail, the USA Bass and Kayak Trail, starts May 25th at Toledo, and then we have one a month. So then June it's Lake Fork, July is Lake Athens, August is OHIV, and then September is Sam Rayburn. Those are all bucket list lakes, especially for me. So I was really excited when I got to make the schedule. I picked all the lakes that I wanted to go to. Let's see. So come out, try the trail. You can rent a kayak from Kayak Construction. And then if you like the kayak, he also sells kayaks. So you could test one out and buy it. So that would be really awesome. Let's see. The SLXs. I love it. Man, that's my favorite. I fish it constantly. I am Corey. Let's see. What else? Also, I'm working on doing some collaborations with other Texas YouTubers, tournament fishermen. I've sent out a few requests to different fishermen, fisher people, whatever they are. I'm trying to do some videos where we collab. Maybe we do 1v1 or any kind of tournament or a competition, a challenge where we only use Texas rigs for the whole day, or we only do frogs. So yeah, if you're on here and you want to collab and go out fishing and see what kind of challenge we can do, make some videos, let's do it. Oh, Tom, I'm not taking any of the dogs on the kayak. They're way too crazy. I bet Journey would do good though. Oh yeah, I do have some QR stickers. I have a couple of hats. What else? Koozies, I think we have for the Adventures of General Hooligan. Speaking of crazy dogs, that's Mishka. She wants to come out and have dinner. Yeah, if you were interested in any of that kind of stuff, send me a message. I'll see what we can put together for you. When I can't fish, I probably watch fishing videos on YouTube the most. Yep, I watch other people fish when I can't fish, or I watch the weather. It's either fishing or weather. Let's see. Oh, that's right, Tom. Well, we might be able to meet in the middle. Let's see. Tips for beginners. Yeah, I think testing a kayak, definitely. If you already have fishing gear, that's awesome. But if you don't, I would say maybe start with a spinning reel. To me, those are the easiest to learn, or even a Zebco. Honestly, that's what I fished growing up. Something that's easy and you're familiar with. Um, any of the baits that you're familiar with already. If you're not, call somebody. Be like, hey, I'm new to this. Do you mind if we go out together to the lake one day? Because I can promise you, most of us are going to be like, oh yeah, when do you want to go? Right now, let's go. There's nothing that I enjoy more, mostly nothing, than fishing. So if I get somebody call me and say, hey, uh, let's go fishing, I'm going to be like, yeah, let's right now. Let's do it. I know, Tom, it's warm down here. You need a vacation. Hey, we might be able to meet in the middle somewhere. Oh, see, Kat likes her baitcaster with a wacky rig. And I tell you what, guys, she will outfish me any day with that wacky rig. That's why I don't let her come with me fishing. Yes, bird's nest for sure. But I mean that Zebco, man, we used them growing up. It's awesome. I I have one in the garage right now. Yeah, come on. Uh yeah, let's do that. We can definitely make some lists on the page. And oh yeah, for sure. Maybe that's why the fish bite. Maybe she's talking to them because I ignore them most of the time. Yep. Yeah, I think that's what we all used growing up, or at least as our starter stuff. And then I switched to the spinning reel and then the bait caster. But I think that really anything you're familiar with. But yeah, I can totally make a list of some really awesome baits, rods, and other things that you need for the tournaments. And like I said, message me. I'm super awesome and open to hanging out, fishing together, helping you get ready for a tournament. Yeah, she fishes. She's been in school, so she hasn't gotten to go with me as much this year. Last year, we did quite a bit of fishing together. Like I said, she can outfish me any day, but don't tell anybody. And I'm not taking her to a tournament. Oh yeah, you're right. Kat did catch two fish at one time on the same lure. I think I have that picture somewhere. I might put that up. See, she's pretty good. But let's see. All right, so I think I'm going to do another one of these go lives. That's right, Tom. As long as you're catching fish, don't matter what you're using. As long as you're having fun, that's really all that matters. That's what fishing is. Have fun, relax, even at a tournament. Oh wait, let's see. Different seasons, yes. When it's cold, to me, the fish are slower. They want slower moving baits. A lot of times they're deeper. To me, I find them deeper. And they want like a Texas rig, something that's really slow moving. In the summertime, especially before or after spawn, they are much more aggressive. Like I mean, you can swim a rattle trap by them as fast as you can, and they will snag it. Uh, there have been those days. Some days they want like a wacky. I mean, they can be so picky, and other days they don't care. They'll bite anything that moves in front of their face. Here recently, this whole first of the year for me has been really tough fishing. I don't know if it's all the different weather that we've had. Uh, but yeah, it's been tough. It's been super tough. I've really had to slow it down because I like to fish fast. I like to move my baits, and I've really had to make myself slow down, and that's been really frustrating because I don't like to slow down. Let's see. So I think we're going to continue with the go live every 2 weeks. And yeah, so we talked about collabs, kayak rentals, the trail, some of my favorite baits. Harold had an awesome suggestion. I'll put a list up. Yes, please go check out the Facebook page. My goal is eventually to get the page to 1,000. It's a very lofty goal, but eventually we're going to get there. Let's see. Yeah, so I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. On the Facebook page, I have a thing up asking everybody to go out, catch one fish, anywhere. Let's see, different knots. Yes, a lot of people use different knots. I use really is between the Palomar and the modified cinch knot. And I'll put up, my plan is to make a video with knots, Maggie. People in the community. It's really cool. There is definitely competitiveness, but it's more like being competitive with your siblings, right? Like it's everybody hangs out after the tournaments, or, if it's a weekend long tournament, people will hang out and have dinner together at the campground, or they'll chat before you launch. It's really cool. So definitely they'll give you a hard time if you didn't catch any fish, or they'll be like, hey, what happened today? Did you try this and this and this? So at the same time that they're competitive, they also really kind of help each other out. Thank you very much. Same to you. I know, Maggie, you've been asking me about these knots. I'm going to make you a video. I promise. But yeah, I really like the kayak fishing community. They're really good. Definitely when they win, they let you know they win, but they also help you out. Are there, yeah, let's see. That's a really good idea. I do have a telescoping rod my friend Samantha gave me. I forgot about that when I went to Nebraska. I could have been using that. Okay. All right, Tom. Now I know what I'm going to travel with. All right, y'all. Post up your pictures on the Facebook page. Any fish, anywhere. It's in the Facebook chat. But other than that, tight lines, happy fishing. And I'm going to go eat some dinner. You guys have an awesome night. And I'll see you guys in 2 weeks.